Hi everyone, this is Nadia, award-winning author, mentor, Clairsentient psychic, and founder of Spartanite. And today's topic that I want to cover is a request topic that somebody asked me not too long ago in reference to the 4 different types of jinn, which are the fire spirits, and which ones are safe and which ones are not, and how do they actually work. So without doing like a 3-hour webinar on it, I decided to shoot a YouTube video to cover a little bit. So, very little in the West is actually known about jinn. And jinn are basically made from smokeless fire. Their bodies are made from like radiation fire. Their bodies are very similar to like electric currents, which is why when jinn crash into like a lamp or something, you'll see electric movement, like a light will go off or something will fuse. And this is the reason typically when people go to places that are haunted, and I really don't like that word, but that's what it is, there'll always be like lights that are flickering and funny things happen because the spirit body is essentially very electric. The human body is electric, but because we have like physical, basically you can see and touch stuff, this meat casing kind of grounds you down. So with jinn, there are good jinn, or at least they're decent to human beings. Most jinn are really not a fan of humans. In their defense, sadly enough, I can see why. However, they're just really mischievous. For the most part, they're mischievous, they're tricksters, and they will do all kinds of things so that humans can't really get hold of them or see them, whatever it is. So the 4 different types of jinn are as follows. They're Khodam Djinn, they're Marid Djinn, they're Afarit Djinn, and they're Shayateen Djinn. I'm going to cover each of them, and if you want to work with jinn, it's very important to know these, and it's very important to be able to respect them. If you just want to be able to keep the wrong ones away from you, you need to know about them as well. So lots of people who say that they are possessed, or someone's acting weird, or all different types of things like mental hospital. I've covered all these cases in the ritualistic work that I do. The usual causes of jinn. People like to call it like they're possessed by demons. Demons and jinn are 2 different things. Demons are made from darkness, and jinn are made from fire. Now, the only intersection between demons and jinn are Shayateen Djinn, which Shayateen comes from shaitan, meaning the devil, or the devil, or something lower demonic in more Islamic culture or Arabic culture. But that's the only intersection that I usually say when someone's really acting way out of line and they say, oh, this person's like possessed by demons, or they're doing this, that. It's the lower shayateen that they're usually possessed by. So let's start with number 1, which I mentioned, which is Khodam. The Khodam Djinn basically are like servitors, they're like helpers. They're sort of like a jinn spirit guide. That's how I describe them. They don't have any malicious intent toward humans. They're actually pretty amazing. I've known people that have worked with Khodam. I haven't had so much experience with Khodam as much as more like Afarit and Marid, but Khodam they're pretty amazing. And if you do want to work with them, they are very influential and they're able to boost up everything that you want, basically, especially with your psychic ability and the ability to have a good life. Now, I would usually recommend people to really do their research before they want to work with jinn, because jinn are they're opportunistically antagonistic, so don't get too comfortable with them, is what I'd say. Like, I have worked with jinn and I've spoken with jinn, and you always want to maintain a degree of like its boundary. I have been possessed by Shayateen and jinn as well, 4 of them through black magic, so I definitely know the damage firsthand that they cause. Now, not all jinn are evil. Most people hear jinn, they freak out, they think, oh my goodness, they're all going to try and possess us or kill us. No, and you have to understand it. That's like a non-human race saying, oh my god, all humans are evil, they're all rapists, they're all psychopaths, they're all murderers, they're all pedophiles. No, we're not. That's the thing. That's a section, sadly, of the human race, but there's not much that can be done. And a lot of them do behave that way because they are possessed by Shayateen Djinn. So first one is Khodam Jinn. They're like servitors, very helpful, very they'll merge with you as a human being. They'll really kind of be like your helper, like kind of like your spirit assistant. So number 2 is a Afarit Jinn. Their rank is pretty high. Afarit Jinns are usually in the military, and they are generals, they are commanders, they're brigadiers, they're lieutenants, those kind of things. Because there's a lot of in the demonic world and in the jinn world as well, there are hierarchies of kings, counts, princes, whatever you want to call it, and I don't have all the time to get into that basically. So with Afarit, they're very, very influential. Some of them they're not really the best fit for humans, and they can be quite standoffish, but I've known people that have worked with Afarit and they've achieved a lot of success. Lots of them are quite busy with their own life. I would say Afarit Jinns, out of all 4 of them, are some of the highest rank, if anything. I don't think the Afarit would be too happy with me saying that, but I've known them where they can be quite animos towards humans, is probably what I'd say, but they are still willing to help occultists, and they're still willing to do different things, and they have a tribe. It's like one jinn can be like a boss jinn, like a king jinn, and he's got like 700,000, whatever it is underneath him, basically. So if you have like a king jinn or a prince jinn or something, or jinnia, which is a lady jinn, they usually, and they're way up in rank, they don't really associate with humans. They don't need humans the way Shayateen need humans, and I'll try and explain why. So high-ranking demons and high-ranking jinn, they're divine in their own right, and they don't really have the time to be messing around or fucking around with humans, because they don't need our energy. The lower-ranking jinn, or the mischievous ones, or the evil ones, I call it, they get off from fear. Basically, this has been covered in so many different videos, in not my channel, but obviously other people's work. Loosh, which is lower chakra emissions, as I call it. So your lower chakras is your solar plexus area, which is your stomach, your sacral area, which is womb for ladies and just above the genitals for men, and your root chakra area is obviously your private area. So most of this world really just lives in fear, the obsession with unhealthy sex and violence, which really is just lower chakra problems. So if you constantly keep giving off fear and that type of thing, it's very easy for jinn to come around you, or if they know that you fear them, which they'd like humans to fear them, and they always like to show their superiority. Like, there's sometimes I can be sitting and doing my work, and just randomly the lights will go out, or I can hear my home phone like bleep, essentially, kind of like if someone's turned the light on and off. They'll fuck with the temperature, just all the kind of things. Not to, in the beginning I used to think it was just to annoy me, but now it's just like they have to say, well, look, we can still see you and we're watching you, which is quite sad and pathetic, but I guess that's what they're like. There's not much you can do about that. So with Afarit Jinn, if you do want to work with them, please be respectful for them, and usually they're okay. They don't have much of an issue. If they're antagonistic, just don't bother. And number 3 is Afarit Jinn. Now, some people call it Ifrit, some people call it Afarit, but it usually means of fire in Arabic, which, as I have said, the jinn race, or the race of jinn basically, are made from smokeless fire. Afarit Jinn are probably a step down from Shayateen Djinn. They can be very evil if they want to. They're generally not a fan of human beings. I don't know if I would go as far as saying they're particularly jealous, but they just don't like the fact that humans have a lot going for them. Not today's humans, because most of today's humans are just empty husks waiting to die. They're already dead, just waiting to be thrown into a grave pit, which sounds awful, but I'm being honest. So the only people that really end up working with Afarit Jinn are people that are very, very well seasoned occultists. Usually Middle Eastern sorcerers are people that practice ilm al-ghaib, which is, ilm is knowledge in Arabic, and al-ghaib is forbidden. So forbidden knowledge, if you practice it, you can work with Afarit Jinn. Again, be mindful, don't try and push them, don't try and demand funny things from them, and be respectful. And if you're finding that it's just way too much, don't do it. Because there's some people who get greedy. They think, oh, well, I can work with the jinn and they'll bring me this and bring me that and do this. And you really need to have control over yourself. A lot of people don't understand that when you work with spirits, you need to have a shit ton of discipline. If you don't have the discipline, the spirit will just literally take over. Like you will just end up doing everything for them instead of them serving you. So you have to be very clear when it comes to that. The fourth one that people usually and have every right to fear is Shayateen Djinn. Shayateen, again, I'm going to repeat, coming from the word shaitan, meaning devil in Arabic, or the lower evil side. When I say people have been possessed by jinn, like I had 4 jinn, therefore Shayateen Djinn on me. They are usually summoned by sahirs. Sahir is a Arabic word for a magician through seher, which is Arabic for witchcraft or black magic. And some of them don't want to go and possess the humans, but they have no choice. Like the magician takes their family hostage. In my case, one of them was crying, saying, I don't want to possess this woman, but we have no choice. Shayateen Djinn are everywhere in the world, and it is their job. They are very well used by the cabal, or the elite, basically, your ruling masters, to sow discord, to tear up families, to create problems in friendships and marriages, divorces, just work. And a lot of time people do come to me, and when I do diagnostics for them, it's either they have very strong black magic placed on them, or they have a Shayateen Djinn that is obviously in the picture that doesn't necessarily need to just be possessing them. They can attack from far. The point I usually say to people is that by that point, it is now your choice what you want to do. There are a lot of people who think this is a joke, or it's funny, or it's just something that you hear in like old wives' tales. I can tell you from experience, none of that is true. And jinn are very real. I've spoken to them, I've been possessed by them, I can hear them, I have worked with them. So because they're different classes, a lot of people will come to me and say, well, how can you have been possessed by 4 Shayateen Djinn and you can comfortably work with them? Are you not afraid of them? No, because you have to really understand and go back in history and understand what they want, what they don't want. And the more fear you show when it comes to them, the more they like it, because they have control over you. If you fear them all the time, that means that they can control you as they see fit. If you know, well, they're just going to be around anyway, you just got to get on with it, then such is life. That's not to say that you don't protect yourself, because there's a lot of people out here who get very arrogant and think, oh, well, if I do this, jinn won't attack me. Jinn really don't give a shit. Let's put it that way. If you are not physically secure, your energy body isn't secure, they will come and try and come for you. I still remember doing 2 rituals last summer, and there was a whole week that I didn't smile, I didn't eat properly, and I knew there was something wrong. And on Saturday, it was a Saturday night, and I was just like, oh my god, I think my head's gonna split open, and I fell asleep. And I actually felt like, how you get a knife, like a hot knife through butter, and I actually felt something searing through my neck, going upwards into my head. What these Shayateen Djinn were trying to do is cut, like welding. That's what I was seeing in my third eye. They were trying to cut through and I shouldn't be laughing at all, but that's basically what they were trying to do. They didn't like the fact that I performed the ritual for somebody, and the person who had done the magic on them, essentially, when they went to the sorcerer, it was more like, if anybody takes this stuff off the person and they're well and healed and healthy, you go and attack them. So that's what they came for. They came to attack me. And it felt like one of those like pizza cutters, basically. It just felt like it was dragging into my skull. And I could actually feel the heat, because they were trying to rip my shields open so they could possess me as a punishment for getting rid of maybe their relatives or whatever it is. Jinn are very loyal to their relatives, and all kinds of things, funny things can happen. So yeah, I managed to take care of that. But I just wanted to really cover the 4 classes of jinn today. And if you really do want to work with them, please make sure that you understand them and you're well protected. Don't try and work with jinn or talk to them or something. Please don't. I say this all the time. If you're not secure and protected enough, your energy body needs to have complete and utter shields, like layers after layers shielding, because what it is with jinn is they have radiation. If I need to talk to a jinn, I need to be on one side of the room, the jinn's at the other side of the room. It's not coming near me, because it's like the heat. You know, like when you have the stove is hot and you put your hand, you're like, ow. Yeah, that's what happens. One got close to me once. I didn't quite realize how much. Like when they say smokeless fire, just because you can't see the smoke, but they're actually made from fire. So one tried to get me near me once because he was trying to speak to me. And yeah, my foot literally was feeling like someone's dipped it in fire and brought it out. So I was just like, can you please like just move a bit backwards? So it's interesting how it works, and I want you guys to know that it's a very serious thing. Basically, when people try and work with jinn, or if somebody becomes possessed with jinn, they will literally drive you nuts. Now, where does the word jinn actually come from? It usually comes from jinn, which means hidden in Arabic, or majnoon, which it means crazy or mental, which is why a lot of people that act, there's something there. So hopefully that's informative for the person that did ask me about the 4 classes of jinn, which are Khodam. They are the decent enough jinn that will work with you. They're like spirit guides. Marid, that usually are in rank, military, generals, all that kind of stuff. They're okay with humans, but treat them with respect. Afarit are basically made of fire. Not that the other ones aren't, but that's what their name is. And you need to be very careful when you work with them. With Afarit, if you're not a seasoned occultist, don't waste your time working with them. And Shayateen, they're the ones that people keep talking about, like, oh, someone's possessed by a demon or this, that. They're just the evil ones. They're the malefic or nefarious jinns that I usually talk about. I would love to hear your comments. If you have anything you'd love to ask me about jinn or my own experience with them, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will be throwing links at the bottom for all like different experiences. And if any of you want to know any further, I'd love to hear from you. Take care. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a good day.